Okay, I'm going to be talking about simplifying fractions and finding the greatest common factor. And I like to teach them together. I actually like to teach simplifying fractions before finding greatest common factor because I have a somewhat easier way, I think, than most textbooks would teach to find it than the traditional way of listing all of the factors. So this will be a nice and easy way to find your greatest common factor with any pair of numbers. But we'll start with fractions. Now say we want to simplify or find the simplest form of a nice simple fraction like 2/4. Okay? And we'll talk about it with a picture also to show what 2/4 means. Now 2/4 means that you have 2 out of 4 pieces of something. Okay? So you have 2 out of 4. Now if we use a different color to show that, you can see that 2/4 is also the same as, I'll draw a line down the middle there, is also the same as 1/2. Now without drawing pictures, what happened there is that we can divide 2 and 4 by 2. 2 divided by 2 is 1. 4 divided by 2 is 2. 2 is a factor of both 2 and 4. Remember, factors are numbers that can be multiplied to make another number or numbers that divide evenly into another number. 2 times 1 is 2. 2 times 2 is 4. And 2 divides evenly into 4, and 2 divides evenly into 2. So since that's the only factor that we could divide 2 and 4 by that's greater than 1, the greatest common factor is 2. So we simplified 2/4 to make 1/2, and we found the greatest common factor to be 2. Let's try another example with some bigger numbers. Say we want to simplify 12/24. They have a few choices of what you could divide by. One being the greatest common factor, but a lot of times kids don't know their basic facts well enough to be able to just have the greatest common factor come off the top of their head. So these numbers are both even, so you know that you could divide them both by 2, because all even numbers have 2 as a factor. So if we do 12 divided by 2, we get 6. And 24 divided by 2, we get 12. And dividing by 2 is the same as cutting numbers in half. Now we have 6/12. What could we divide 6 and 12 by? Well, we could divide it by 6, or some kids might not know that right off the top of their head, and they might say, well, they're both even, so I'm just going to cut them in half, cut those numbers in half again by dividing them by 2 again. 2 goes into 6 3 times. 2 goes into 12 6 times. So we've divided twice now, and I still know that there is a factor that's greater than 1 of 3 and 6, and that is 3. So I'm going to divide again by 3, and now I have 1/2. Now 1/2 is the simplest form, but what is the greatest common factor? And here's how you can always find the greatest common factor if it takes you more than one step to simplify a fraction. What did we divide by? We divided by 2, then we divided by 2 again, then we divided by 3. Watch this. 2 times 2 is 4. Let's bring down the 3. 4 times 3 is 12. So the greatest common factor is 12. Pretty cool, huh? Let's simplify that same fraction a different way and let's see that we'll still have the same greatest common factor. Say we're simplifying 12/24. and 6 is the factor that pops into your head first. So we're going to first divide by 6. 6 into 12 is 2. 6 into 24 is 4. Now we see 2/4. What can we divide 2 and 4 by? Yes, you're right. They're both even, so we can divide by 2. 2 goes into 2 once. 2 goes into 4 twice. Look at this. We have 1/2 there. We have 1/2 here. But the way we simplified looks very different in both cases. So let's see what our greatest common factor is. Well, here we divided by 6. Then we divided by 2. 6 times 2 is 12. So our greatest common factor is 12 again. 12 and 12. We did it 2 different ways. We always end up with the greatest common factor. Now what the greatest common factor tells you is how could you have simplified it in just one step? And that shows you, well, I apologize for that. I'll just cross all that out. If we were simplifying 12/24 and we wanted to do it in one step, we would just divide by the greatest common factor once, and it's 12. 12 goes into 12 once. 12 goes into 24 twice. GCF is 12. So really there's 3 different ways we can do it, and we could come up with some more if we wanted to.